Welcome to Module 3. This module is going to be really fun. And this one, I'm going to show you the actual formula for mass control. If you can believe that, there is literally a formula for mass control with like fancy letters and a plus sign and an equal sign, some parentheses, a whole 9 yards. Sure is. So right now in this next upcoming segment, I'm going to show you a video taken from Jeff Walker's sold out $5,000 per person product launch formula insiders workshop. I can't remember the title of it, but it sure sounded fancy, right? He invited me there as a guest, and I spontaneously decided to get up and share some words. And what you're going to see right now is the first time I ever revealed this formula ever to the public. And this was so well received, so profoundly well received, that what you're about to watch is the very reason I went ahead and made this very detailed course for you. So even if you've seen this footage before, I want you to watch it again, because it's going to prep your mind and get everything fresh for the rest of this module, which is very important. Now, a word of warning. I use a tremendous amount of profanity in this upcoming section. The reason I do that, incidentally, is for NLP pattern interrupt purposes. Without going into too much detail that might bore you and isn't really related that much to mass control, a pattern interrupt is when people are in one state and they're used to something, and you throw something completely new in there to shock their system and jar them awake and make their minds more receptive to new information. Regardless, lots of profanity in this. So if for some bizarre reason you're watching my mass control videos with a young kid or something, probably want to use your discretion, use your judgment, might want to ask them to leave the room or play this part later when they're not around, because there's some pretty choice words being said in here. All right, so without further ado, let's get on with this new section. Did that? Yeah, there we go. Okay. I think I'm the best email copywriter in the world because it says so somewhere in an email that I wrote and somebody read it, and therefore it's true. How many of you guys know me? Raise your hand. Both of you, great. All right. I kind of vanished from the internet marketing world, I don't know, a couple months ago, a year ago. I lose track of time. I live in Southern California and spend most of my days in the ocean and screwing off. But I'd run out of things to say, really, which was why I vanished, and I got tired of messing with it. I have other businesses that are outside of internet marketing. I'm one of those rare people who actually says, hey, it's a good idea to build information businesses selling non-make-money oriented shit because it's easier. I actually did that, and my non-make-money oriented shit allowed me to retire. I said shit like 3 times, didn't I? What a fucker I am. Okay, so you should know better than to ever believe me if I'm going to, really regarding anything. He asked me not to say mother effer, so I won't say that. I won't say everything else is fair game. Anyway, so I faded. I took off, because I got tired of messing with it and didn't have anything else to say. I mean, there's only so many ways, despite the various joy that I got from people giving me money to do it, there's only so many ways that you can say, find out what people want, make the product, and then sell it to them. I ran out of variations to say that. But then I started developing this system called mass control, and I call it mass control because it sounds cooler than how to influence people with email or something. And it's a little different from launching, and I'll give you the evolution of it, and this is not a pitch for it, it doesn't exist, and the reason I'm talking to you about it today is because I may make a course to teach it, but I don't know if I will because I don't know if I can teach it, and I'm kind of guinea pigging on you guys. But I am going to give you excellent content. I'm not going to pitch anything to you or whatever. So anyway, for those of you guys who don't know me, here is why, despite my raw charisma and good looks and sex appeal, here's why you should listen to me regarding this stuff. All right, so I've done a couple launches. First one was for a course that I did with Ed Dale. It's called the Underachiever System. We did $1 million worth of them in 2 weeks. It was actually only for sale for 48 hours. We took it off the market and then let an affiliate sell it and stuff. All right, so there's that one. And after that one, I did Serializer 1. The Serializer method is a marketing methodology and software system that I developed that I sold. That one did 300-something thousand and 9 minutes. And then there was Ultra,
Underachievers, which was a newsletter, which we didn't even launch it. We sent like 2 promotional emails that said something along the lines of, if you insist on buying this, we'll take your money, but it's not going to be any good. And that, which it wasn't really. And I said, we said shit and fuck like all the time though. So people like that. That was cool. Okay, so anyway, so that was like $1 million, but it wasn't technically a launch, but it was done with like by marketing, email and stuff. And then there was Serializer 2, which did like whatever $1 million minus 360 is. What is that? 640. 640 in like, I don't know, 20 minutes or something. Okay. This was before I started like really thinking about this stuff and being like, I might be onto something here. This launch business might work out. But these totals are whatever, like $3 million. Is that right? Math is not my strong point. Okay, so everything's chugging along smoothly, and I came to, and for anyone who can't see this, it's really not very important or good. It just helps me keep focused. So everything's coming along smoothly, and then I had these 2 revelations. Okay, I want everyone to write this down along with me here and go like this, and then like that. Okay, and then what? Well, I mean, people have been picking on me all day. He's not even here. I figured, why not? Okay, and then there are these guys who are also a bunch of assholes. Did I spell that right? Oh, there we go. All right, so, and then you got that. So here's what happens. Reese does his $1 million day. He actually had done that before I'd done all my other stuff. And the little shitwad just wouldn't let it go, would he? He was like, $1 million day. Yeah. And that's the underachiever thing. We were trying to beat him so we could do the $1 million day too. And it didn't make it, and ultras, it wasn't like in a day. We had to send 2 emails or whatever. And technically the $1 million only came over a year and all that stuff, so it didn't count. I was like, bastard ass. And then Serializer was $1 million, and it was like cumulatively in 45 minutes or whatever, but it wasn't like one product or whatever. And I wanted to beat him because he was first to everything. We're very good friends. He got his Ferrari first and all this stuff. He did his $1 million day for, and I was just like, screw you, man. I'm tired of hearing this damn $1 million day thing. And then we have these dickheads to contend with, who I was also sick of listening to, and what I was sick of hearing was everybody else saying, this stuff only works in the internet marketing crowd. And I was like, that's not true, and you guys are all assholes. I didn't know that for sure that it wasn't true, but I was emphatic in my belief that it wasn't. So I decided that I wanted to do a launch that would not only do $1 million in a day and therefore beat Reese, so I could lord it over him for like, the next 30 seconds until he does $1 billion in a day or something. But I also wanted to prove all these other guys wrong so they would shut up. So along comes this guy, and this is really what he looks like. And he's got a little goatee here, and he's got a little earring, and his name is Nervous Neil. This is Neil Strauss. That's a pretty good rendition. Through some bizarre chain of events, I end up knowing Neil and working on this launch with him, and at that point, consciously thinking about how this stuff works and taking this whole process away from let's just have a launch and sell a lot of stuff to let's build a community of people and a relationship with people to the point where you almost have like a cult status where they would kill people for you if you wanted them to. Where not only are they excited and happy to buy from you, but they just think you're the greatest thing ever, like people get about Justin Timberlake or something. I wanted to accomplish that. So I started in on the birth of what mass control really is. So I'll stop bragging about how awesome I am, sometime Wednesday. But anyway, so we do Neil's launch, and it was hard. Writing as someone else is very difficult, especially if they're a real writer and, you know, care about grammatical accuracy and factual accuracy. But like, he's like, that didn't happen. I was like, yeah, but it sounds so good, you know. So anyway, so we released a little course called the Annihilation Method, and that did 1.4 million in like 4 hours or something. Therefore, finally beating Reese, you know. And I was like, all right, this is awesome. Naturally, I bragged about it, and therefore was stupid, and people started wanting to come to me to do launches. So, anyone heard of StomperNet? All right. I'm the guy that did the email copy and the sales copy and most of the strategery, which is a word, for StomperNet. So, that one did, like, I honestly have forgotten because it's been over 6 months ago, but somewhere around $10 million in billable sales in its first day. Cash collected was an assload of money, like $2 million in the first hour or whatever. Then I did the Pipeline Profits launch. So all that stuff, all the little reports and everything, it was me. You know, and if you look at them, you can tell it's like the same emails. It's like with different voices or whatever. And I think that did like $2 million or something. So bottom line is, I know what I'm talking about. So pay attention, or else I'll call you nasty, nasty names from the stage. All right. So there are several reasons I'm up here talking to you for free and not pitching you anything. One is to see if I can explain these mass control principles and bounce it off you guys and see if you dig it, and maybe I'll become motivated to actually do some work and sell you something eventually. The other is to get you to do something, and is to show you some cool stuff. Because just like Wheezy, Eben, was saying, that's not a derogatory term, that's the guy's nickname, is Eben, Ebenezer, Wheezy. It kind of flows, you know. If you give people lots of good stuff, good things will happen to you. I can't have enough good stuff happen to me, so I'll give you some good stuff. So, I was thinking to myself, okay, actually I was thinking to my telepathic mind partner, but most people don't have those, so I say it myself a lot. It just sounds better. Lots of good information here, right? This is a really kick-ass seminar. This is actually the only seminar besides my own where I've stayed in the room the entire time. I usually leave. They bore the hell out of me. I hate them. I just come to get liquored up with my friends, you know, but I'm enjoying myself, and I'm thinking, okay, you know, what people are learning here can and has changed lives. It's been proven to change lives. I mean, you know, how many success stories do you need, right? And I've used it, slightly different stuff, but sort of similar, and $1 gazillion, and I'm practically retarded, you know? But you really shouldn't make fun of that. That's, I think that's in very poor taste. And what the hell is wrong with you people? Okay. Well, screw you guys, man. I mean, what? All right, so despite how awesome it is and everything, I know a lot of people want to take action, so I was thinking, okay, why wouldn't people take action? So first of all, for some miraculous reason, they might not think that they can do it. You might think, well, you know, this is great, but it's Jeff Walker and he's got magic powers or whatever. Or Evan Pagan has a very nice tie and therefore it somehow gives him the ability to do this or whatever. So hopefully seeing me up here and seeing the numbers I've done, really haphazardly actually, will drive that home that, you know, yeah, okay, if Kern can do it, then surely I can at least like do a bad job of it and make some money and at least make it worth doing. So hopefully I've overcome that. Two other reasons, and I think these might be really big sticking points for you, are fear and lack of motivation. Hopefully the very large numbers there motivate you. I mean, it doesn't really take a lot of those to get you to the point where you can screw off all the time. Like you could really do like a half of one a decade, you know, if you have a low expenditure level. So let's address fear. I think it's a big stumbling block for people. Probably there's some folks going, man, you know, what if I do this and I look stupid? I'm lucky enough to look stupid all the time. So I've gotten used to it, you know, and it's like no big deal. But my thinking of why you might be afraid, even if you don't want to admit it, and why that might keep you from taking action is you think you'll look dumb, or people will respond negatively to being sold in this launch process, because at least the way I do it, you sell the hell out of them, So I wanted to give you some reassurance, not that everything would be okay, because I'm not psychic, but that everybody is completely out of their fucking minds. And they're miserably bored and terrified. So, if you keep that in mind, it's really impossible for you to have any sort of fear of failure, of looking stupid to this list of email people who you've never even seen in your life. And what are they going to do? Come through the computer and kill you? I've tried that. It doesn't. You cannot get into the computer. There's no part of your body that will fit into a computer. I'm just saying. You watch television and it's like, hi, I'm bipolar, I'm depressed, I have ADD, I have insomnia, I'm fucking bonkers. We're like in the most medicated society in the world, so please consider that when you're writing to people, or if you're like going, oh God, is this going to sound stupid, or am I going to fall on my face or whatever? Who cares? Everybody's batshit crazy. And the fact that people are actually opening your emails and reading them proves this, right? Don't believe me. I'm up here now as proof that you guys are all, I'm the only normal one in here. All right, and then maybe one final thing might be, well, I'm just getting started, or whatever, so this won't work. I have to wait until I have a big list or something. So everyone please raise your hand now. I'm not going to make us do some dorky exercise, but everyone raise your hand so I can just get a gauge. Come on, keep them up. All right, how does this work? Hang on. I know what I'm doing, I promise. If your list is smaller than 10,000, keep your hand up. So everyone else who has a bigger list than 10,000, put your hand down. See, this is easy. All right, 5,000. Okay, so a lot of you guys have a really small list out there. All right, 2,000. Okay, and so 2,000 and under, I would say most people have around 5,000 people on the list. It's just like, the little average here, okay? Look around the room. There's no point in me saying that. I just occasionally get freaked out and have to look around the room, and I wanted to know what I look like from up here, and now I know. And I got to say, I look kind of weird. I asked Jeff earlier how many people were here. He said 92, give or take. Okay? So 5,000 is the average group of people. Let's say you have 1,000. All right? Let's take it down smaller. I'm standing up here in front of 92 people. That's a lot of people. I mean, if you guys were all throwing rocks at me, I'd be hosed, right? Imagine standing in front of 1,000 people. What would that be like? I mean, just really think about it for a minute. You walk out onto a podium, you're standing right here, there's 1,000 people looking at you and listening to every single thing you say. Imagine 5,000 people doing that. Would you feel that whatever you said would be kind of worthwhile and best to be thought out and possibly impactful? Same thing. We think of this list as this thing, it's just a number. They're people with credit cards and emotions and desires and wants and needs and fears and complete insanity and neuroses and everything. Gastrointestinal difficulties. You name it. They're out there. And even if your list is small, it doesn't matter. You just take into mind and think, okay, what if I just stepped out in front of them? What if I stepped out in front of them naked? Would it seem like a big crowd then? And then realize you have something, no matter how big your list is. So hopefully I've given you just some things that will cause you to take action, whether or not you liked it or not. Now we'll get into some specific how-to. I want to give you some psychological weapons. I want to give you a ninja formula. And then I want to give you a very, very evil, sneaky, devious tactic that I have never personally done and could not possibly endorse. I'm just giving it to you as an example of something you certainly wouldn't want to do in any circumstance. Right. Psychological weapons. With mass control, for me, it's not for the sale. Obviously, I want the money, but I want the list to look to whoever I've positioned in front of them as being like the messianic deity sent down from the mothership to save the world. And the best way that I know how to do that is through empathy. And that's probably like the 19th time that you've heard the word today. I just learned it. That's why I'm using it. You know, I want to cement it in my brain. Rich was saying, as was Evan, if you can describe someone's problem better than they can, then they will unconsciously think that you have the solution. Rich worded it a little differently. Same thing. If you can get that, is it empathetic or empathic? Empatheticalismic relationship with your people, you're set. I will freely admit to you that I've read one copywriting course and like 30% of 3 or 4 business books in my life. The copywriting course I read was John Carlton's. The business books, one was Dan Kennedy's No BS Time Management. The other one was The 4-Hour Work Week. I never made it through all of them with the exception of Carlton's. With that said, why am I able to do this kind of shit? I mean, if I haven't read the books, then, you know, what, is it magic? No. No, it's not magic, Jeff Long, or Johnson. I've lost track of who was saying what, you know, because lots of people are here and they're talking about various things on the stage to all of us. And someone said some people learn better by watching and observing rather than reading how to, and that's the way I learn. And the greatest way that I learned to convey empathy was by reading one author. His name was Charles Bukowski. It is spelled B-U, it's not even written on this piece of paper, like I'm making it up as I go along. Hang on. B-U-K-O-W-S-K-I. Charles Bukowski. If you've been saving up, you can get some of his stuff on Amazon for like $8 or $9. He's written lots and lots of books, all of them about living a life of despondent degeneracy and debauchery. My favorite one is Post Office. Second favorite is Women. Third favorite is Hollywood. They're all paperback. They're nothing. They're cheap. Here's why you should read Bukowski. The guy actually lived the life of desperate, debaucherous, on the edge, near catastrophe for, I would say, like 75% of his life. So from teenage years until he died, he was the guy in the gutter. He was the guy going through just unbelievable, awful crap all the time. And he can describe that so well, and he describes it in quick little sucker punch sentences. When you write an email, it's not a medium like a sales letter. People, unless you have like magic powers like Evan, don't want to read 4,000 pages of email. You got to sucker punch right there, bam. I don't know of any copy courses that can teach you how to do that, but you can read Bukowski and be like, oh, okay, I should write like this. Secret weapon. Been saying it for years. All right. People talk about telling stories. I've never read a book on how to tell stories, but I did seek out who sold the most stories and who is considered the best storyteller in the world. And for my extensive and exhaustive research, I can tell you here is the best-selling story of all time. Guy grows up poor, figures out a way to make money, has sex with lots of women, loses the money, has sex with more women, makes even more money, has sex with more women again. Okay? Best-selling story of all time. The reason I say that is because if you take the 20-plus novels written by a guy named Harold Robbins, write it down, Harold Robbins, and you boil them all down, that's basically what every single novel is. Why is this guy significant? It was estimated, and I got this off the inside of one of his books, that in his prime he was selling 25,000 books a day. Screw business theory. If you're going to go out and sell to a big-ass group of people, look at what big-ass groups of people respond to and relate to, and do that. Harold Robbins, probably the best-selling author of all time. 25,000 books a day. Duh, all right? Now, you're going to have to make a significant investment to get Harold Robbins stuff. I just ordered every book that was available on Amazon, and the cheapest one I found was like 89 cents plus $3 shipping. Okay? Some titles you might look for: the Carpetbaggers, the Adventurers, the Betsy. When you're doing this stuff, you've got to learn how to be conversational. You've got to be able to write on a level that people can enjoy reading, aside from getting your marketing message across and being like having sales hooks, guarantees, risk reversal, and all that stuff. If they can't read it, get into it, and get hooked on you, you're hosed. So rather than me trying to explain that to you, why not just go read some good old-fashioned trashy novels and copy that guy's style? It worked for me, thus the big numbers. Okay. Let me consult my PowerPoint here. Hang on. Am I losing you guys at all? You all right? I know. I fully realize the danger of delaying people from liquor. I do, and I hate to be the guy that's standing between you and liquor right now, because I hate those people. You know, so I guess I'm technically my own worst enemy. I'm delaying liquor for myself. All right. Empathy, Bukowski, story, Harold Robbins. Okay. Anyone ever have an argument? No, Frank. All right. Have you ever come to a conclusion or had a decision and then gotten into an argument with someone and then defended it like some rabid Wolverine long past the point you even gave a shit about what you were arguing about anyway? Has that ever happened to anyone, or is it just me? Okay. It could be just me. I'll give you like the 30-second side tangent. I see a shrink, and my sole purpose in seeing this guy is to eventually get him to issue me a certificate of insanity so I can do whatever I want. And at this point, he refuses, but maybe he'll see the tapes, and he'll be all right. Okay. Why do you think you did it? Because it was your decision. You made the decision in your mind. You came to the conclusion about whatever it was, and therefore you will defend that decision like a rabid animal, right? It's natural. That's the way we're wired. Thank God, or else I would be totally broke, because I really have no other skills than this. This is where we start getting into mass control stuff. I'm going to tell you some psychology. I've been thinking about this for almost a year now, and it's hard for me to articulate it. So I'm doing best I can. I really would appreciate your honest feedback. There are two types, in my opinion, of selling, which is implicit or explicit. In implicit selling, I say some stuff, you come to a conclusion. It's your conclusion. I imply things. I never come right out and say them. You say them. Explicit, I just come right out and say it, right? A really stupid example would be something like implicit. These 400,000 people ate apricots every day for a year, and they all had cancer, and now they don't have cancer anymore. Isn't that interesting? The implied thing being, if you eat apricots every day for a year, then it cures cancer. Explicit would be me saying, you should buy these apricots because they cure cancer. Which statement is more likely to be defended in your mind? First one, you come to the conclusion. Okay. So I really like very much to imply that you're the expert. More so, and I've done both, and for me, I've just had better success when you imply that you're the expert, but you really don't come right out and say that I'm the expert. You imply it. You let them come to the conclusion that you're the expert. It's all their idea in the first place. Like if I were trying to sell you something today, I would never have come up here and said, I'm the greatest email copywriter in the world, even though I am, without question. I'm not kidding. I mean, come on. I just said it with absolute conviction and authority. Surely it must be true. I would let you draw that conclusion, right? All right. I've written here in my very nice notes with arrows and everything. I prefer implicit because they draw conclusions and will therefore work to defend it. I really in one of the business books that I'd read a third of and quickly abandoned for pulp trash, it said somewhere that part of our biggest reasons for not buying is that we think we won't be able to convince other people that it was a good decision. Now, if I'm trying to convince you that something is a good decision. And then your biggest psychological barrier is, hey, you got to believe me that it's a good decision. And then you got to figure out how to convince your mom, spouse, whatever, that it's a good decision. It's a major uphill battle. But if you come to the conclusion that this is a good decision just by me standing here saying some stuff, then you've got this conviction. You know, right? So implicit. All right, so how do you do it? Sorry, so I'm getting pretty close to done here, so believe me, don't attack me yet. You will have your liquor. Now it's time for the magic formula, okay? And this is the actual formula that I used with every single one of these. Note, these being significantly larger than the other launches that I did. In every single one of these situations, we created a following of people that were rabbidically very loyal to the heroes of the list, to the guys who were doing the launches. And all but one of them, they screwed it up. Not by delivering bad product, but just not by following up with the list. It's funny, these guys could have gone on to sell $1 gazillion worth of stuff to people over the next 60, 70 days or so, because I had built the list up to the point where they were all ready to mail in their kidneys to them, if need be, and they got so preoccupied delivering the product and doing a good job that they didn't keep the dream alive. Nervous Neil was the most difficult client, not because he's an asshole, but because he's a respected New York Times, author, bestseller, blah, blah, blah. And this whole marketing thing was completely new to him, and it was just totally flipping him out. He's the one that, of all the guys, maintained it, and that launch is now irrelevant compared to what he's able to accomplish with that list. And I don't want to give away anything about his business, but it doesn't have to be a one-shot deal. So here's the magic formula. Here's how that worked. I will admit to you now, I have no idea how I figured this out. It just happened, but I did take the time to sit down and figure out after the fact why I thought it worked. And on Pipeline, it was strategic, okay, well, this is what we did last time, this is what we did last time, and so here's what we're going to do. And that was just like a cakewalk. It was simple. All right. For anyone who can't see, I'm writing MB plus P plus L S E S C. I really need to think of something a little shorter for that one. Equals money. All right. MB stands for magic bullet. P stands for prove. L stands for low self-esteem success chance, and that's a dollar sign. I'm giving you a very high-level overview of this. There's a lot that goes into what you have to say and do and how you have to say it to really position this quickly. But here's the formula to the best that I've been able to drill it down. I just confess to you, as someone who publicly despises working and simply doesn't have to, that I worked my ass off on 3 separate occasions to make other people a lot of money. Okay? I still don't know why I did that. I'm approached not nearly as much as Jeff is, but more often than I would like to be, with people saying, will you help me launch my stuff? And I invariably say no, unless it's got the MB quality, which is magic bullet. To be able to identify the magic bullet, you have to have your hand on the pulse of the list. I've been selling stuff to marketing people for 8 years. No. Anyway, a long time. I don't know, a while. Yeah, since '99, that's easier than doing the actual math. So I know what you guys want, StomperNet was a magic bullet. And by the way, I don't use the term magic bullet negatively. In coffee, I would use it negatively by saying this isn't some kind of magic bullet or pipe dream. In this case, it's a positive. StomperNet was a magic bullet because People had just been hit with Google Slap 1 and 2. Pay-per-click was a complete mystery again. And who wouldn't want all the free traffic they could stand, right? Like, duh. That's clearly what people want. Magic bullet. I do nothing, buy some stuff, use some things, and free traffic forever. Okay? Now, if I came up to you and said, I have this system, you do nothing, buy some stuff, do some things, you have free traffic forever, what would you say? You're full of shit, right? Therefore, we have to have the proof element. This is rocket science, isn't it? Okay? Same with pipeline. Pipeline was magic bullet. Why? No joint venture partners, no building lists, no affiliates, nothing. Instant leads. No pay-per-click, no SEO. Magic bullet. The annihilation method? Magic bullet. All the nookie you can stand? I mean, I'm the only guy who's not interested in that because I'm married, but every other man in the world, that's like completely irresistible, right? Magic bullet. Okay, proof. With StomperNet, it was the videos that showed Brad and Andy making $800 billion a second or whatever the hell they made, right? Which was insane. The low self-esteem success chance is the conclusion that you want your prospect to have, which says, well, these guys are smart and I'm retarded. Oh, actually, that's not the exact one, but let's say they have that conclusion A. These guys are smart, I'm retarded, I can't do it. But if I could just do 1/10 as much as they do, then this would definitely be worth it, right? You ever had that rationalization in your mind? Like, well, I'm over here telling you about doing $10 million and whatever a day, 360 grand in 9 minutes and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you ever think to yourself, well, Jesus, if I could just do like a little bit of that, I would be stoked. Not to say you guys all have low self-esteem, although every single person in the world does, which you should be happy about because you can prey on it like an evil. Never mind. Anyway, so that's what you want, right? That's version 1, whereas I'll kind of diagram it out. Hero a lot, me not as much, but still good. Okay? This is very technical stuff. Another conclusion you could lead them to have, which is where we start getting deep into the psychological weirdness that is mass control, whereas you don't position yourself as a hero at all, you position yourself as a reluctant hero, which means, man, I figured out this incredible system for building businesses, and I thought I'd just gotten lucky, but my brother-in-law was down on his luck, so I taught it to him, and now he's making 7 figures a year. And so he went out and he told his golf buddies, and now the phone's ringing off the hook. And so I made a little special report about it, and God damn it, I don't know what happened, but now I've got like 40,000 people on this email list who've all downloaded the report, and I'm getting flooded with emails, and I'm freaking out. So I'll teach it, but you should know that I'm just a regular guy. You know what I mean? I'm kind of dumb. I thought, in all honesty, guys, I thought I'd gotten lucky. And if it hadn't have been for me showing this to my brother-in-law and his friends in these various other case studies and testimonials I'm going to hammer you in your face with 40,000 fucking times, I would be absolutely convinced that it was just good luck. But apparently it's not, so I'll show you how I did it. And I've made a course, and I'll sell it. But, just know that I'm not up here claiming to be any kind of rocket scientist. Which one are you going to believe more? Reluctant guy. Obviously you don't ham it up like I did. I'm trying to prove a point. I have no idea why that's so powerful. But if you do that and you do it right, people absolutely flip out. They go completely bonkers. I'm not saying whether or not this actually happened, but rumor has it during one of the 3 launches I mentioned above, after the product was sold out, one person wrote in and said that they had attempted suicide because they couldn't get it. It's heavy shit. That wasn't intentional. Not to say that it actually happened, but had it happened, it would not have been intentional at all. Reluctant hero. You ever go to like a store and you meet with the salesman or whatever, and then you think the person's really cool, and then you go and you tell your friends about it, and you're like, yeah, I went there, and I ended up buying the $47,000 massage chair. But the guy was so cool, like he didn't even try to sell it to me or anything. He just pointed it out and got in it, and I got in it, and it was great. And dude, you should really go see this dude. It was great. I bought one. I'm so stoked. Ever had an experience like that? Reluctant hero. Not trying to sell you anything, but you should really buy this. You laugh that. Go back. If I ever release a product, I'll go through all the emails and videos I made, and I'll circle this in red and be like, I told you. Every single time I've said that. I've also said, I'm not trying to put any pressure on you because that would be lame, but if you don't act within 37 seconds, not only are you going to die, the terrorists will win. So you could either, sell your soul to Satan, make a bond with Hitler, and kill a bunch of kittens, or you could buy this shit. It's up to you. It's your choice. I don't care. Okay? That's the magic formula. I haven't really figured out how to explain really how to pull all that kind of stuff off yet, but that's what you got to do. That to me has worked the best. There's other relationship building themes. I've spoken about us versus them. Hometown boy makes good. Us versus them is when you position yourself and your community against them. It's pesky them. They're everywhere. I saw one of them earlier. Tried to make eye contact with me. I wouldn't do it because then he would want to get in a conversation. I was like, forget it. I know that you're one of them. Screw you, asshole. And then hometown boy makes good is basically loss and redemption. But what I've seen best is this whole reluctant hero thing. So I guess you could almost have, we could spin this if we wanted to, and if I were writing copy for it, I would say the three key ingredients for guaranteed success every single time. Because I think that if you have these, you cannot possibly go wrong with the launch. I really think it's physically impossible. If you have the product that people perceive to be a magic bullet and they want it more than anything else in the world, such as some dude being able to simply walk into a bar and go, and then women get naked and throw themselves on it. If you can prove that it works, and then if you can engineer it so that you have that low self-esteem success chance conversation going on in your prospect's mind, there's no way you can go wrong. I really think your sales letter could be a picture of your ass with a little thing with you going, you're an asshole by now, and people would still buy it. Okay, so that's the formula. Almost done. It's almost liquor time, I promise. We're down to the final thing, which is tactic. I'm going to give you guys a little tactic. Just saying. Not that I've ever done it. Not that if you go back and look at campaigns, you would see it or something. I'm very fortunate to be able to sell a lot of stuff to the marketing crowd. And I think the reason I can do that is because I'm a regular dude, and people can just relate to me, and I'm insanely charismatic and attractive and look a lot like Matthew McConaughey. I know, it's weird. One way to come across as being a homespun, just good old nice, real person, and this is going to sound kind of crazy, but is to come right out and say that you're a real nice, real person. In the marketing world, and actually in every single thing I've ever been involved in, what the list wants, almost more than anything, probably right up there with the perceived result of the product, is the inclusion and to touch the hem of the garment. And this isn't just like with me, it's just, I don't know, it's weird. Anytime you have this herd situation, people really get all jacked up if they can have some sort of interaction with the dude whoever the dude is. Like, look at Tony Robbins. People pay that guy 65 grand a year to be able to go to the same stuff they just paid for free, and then like go with a whole bunch of other people with him on exotic vacations and maybe say hello to him for 10 minutes, touching the hem, right? That's one example. You can achieve the same effect and build just incredible loyalty by, at the end of your emails, saying, you know, I realize this report that I just gave you on how to build your own meth lab in 20 seconds or less might seem to be a little overwhelming. And I want you to know that I'm a real person. And when I first got into building meth labs, I was new too, and I had some questions. So here's my email address. If you've got anything, feel free to drop me a line. I'd love to hear from you. I really like this stuff. It's a lot of fun. You know, I'll get back with you as soon as I can. Okay? What's that showing? You're a real person. Nobody does it like ever, especially in the marketing world. If you go hog wild and study your swipe files, which I would hope you guys keep, but if you don't, I'm happy to sell them to you at an inflated price several months from now. You'll see that on all my stuff, I've got that. All right? Now, there's a reason. I don't know why I get so confused with math on stage. I can do it when I'm alone. There are three reasons, I think, that you do this. Reason number one is to show that you're a nice person and convey and prove the homespun thing. I'm here for you, right? Reason number two is after you have sent out your little email that says, by the way, if you have any questions or you need anything, email me and I'm a real person. You can therefore give yourself immediate social proof showing how many people are absolutely chomping at the bit to buy your stuff. Now, how would you do that, I wonder? You might tell them, okay, by saying something along the lines of, Bob, oh my gosh, listen, I sent out the report the other day and I had my email address in there and I'm happy to hear from everybody, but I just want you to know that I've been absolutely flooded with emails. Dang old diggity. Flooded. Now, what's that imply? People are paying attention to you and that they look to you as the authority figure. You're not going to be flooded with emails if you're an asshole and no one gives a damn. And by the way, to some people, one email is a lot, you know, so I'm just saying. That could be considered a flood, depending on the size of your inbox. Like, for example, I have the BlackBerry Pro, and as you can see, I can check email on this, and this is a very small device with, I would imagine, a compact inbox built in, so probably 2 emails would flood this. You know, so it depends. All right? I'm kidding. If you don't get flooded with emails, people aren't interested in your stuff or you worded the thing wrong, but you don't need like 20,000 to be flooded, is what I'm telling you. Okay. Social proof 1. Next thing you say, I just want you to know that I'm going through them all and I'm having a great time. What's that saying about you? It implies you're not in this for the money at all. You're having a great time and you're going through them all. You are a real person. So real that you actually took the time to write back and say that you've been flooded with emails and you're going through them all and you're having a great time. Next thing you say, if I take a few days to get back to you, forgive me. And then you go on to release the next little thing you want to do and the next implication that if they don't buy your stuff, then they hate Jesus. All right. Every launch I do, I have a period of time, usually the last week of the launch, that I call the death grip. And that involves lots of stuff, takeaways, pressure stacking, risk reversal. It's heavy, really crazy shit. One thing that I'm not saying I've ever done, I'm just saying hypothetically, that if you were to do it, would really work well, and that you would probably be well to test this, is you encourage as many people to email you personally with questions as humanly possible. And if your list is small enough and you have enough time in the day and you do enough methamphetamine like Moffat does, then you can probably personally answer them all. But for for those of us who have completed the 12-step program, then you might need some help. But you want people to write you. Ideally, you answer them all. If you can't answer them all, you hire someone to send them a response that says something along the lines of, hey, Bob, thanks a lot for writing me with your question about They insert whatever the question was so they know it's a real person. I want you to know I'm flooded with emails right now. I'll answer it as soon as I can. But right now, I got to get back to my inbox. I just want to touch base with you so you wouldn't know that I'm ignoring you. And I'm here, and I'll answer it as soon as humanly possible. Ideally, you write that. If you got to outsource it, outsource it. Okay? Now, here's the next thing that happens. Needless to say, all the people that wrote you are now on the sub-list of extremely interested people, right? Yeah? I mean, they wouldn't write you if they weren't interested. That's basically them saying, I want to buy your shit. I just need you to convince me that it's a good idea. Okay? That's really what they're saying when they write in questions. So, step 2 is you send them an email again. And again, ideally, you either do this every single person or you have someone else do it. They say, Bob, thanks a lot for sending me your question about building a meth lab in 20 minutes or less. I got about 15 emails about it. So what I've done is I've made a podcast that addresses that question and some other ones. And I'm going to give it away to the whole list. And please forgive me if I don't write a detailed response in this email, but I think you'll probably get more out of the podcast as well. And it gives you other tips on building a meth lab. So what are you doing there? You communicated with your super duper hot prospect twice. You've shown them that you're a real person. You found out the biggest objections of your list. You've made something, podcast, PDF, whatever, that overcomes those objections, and you give it out to everybody as content. No biggie, right? I mean, this is all like kind of part of the formula anyway. Now, here's where you could hypothetically really sell the ever-living dog shit out of your stuff come launch day, right? I'm just saying hypothetically. Now, you're an entrepreneur. You appreciate customer feedback, right? And when clients email you with questions, they're really doing you a favor because they're helping you find better ways to sell your product and helping you find out what the needs of your market are, right? Duh. So if you ask me, it's really your moral obligation to show your appreciation to those people who wrote you by setting aside a special copy of the course just for them personally, okay? And here's what you do. You send them a real email. Now, this is where you cannot screw around. Don't auto-respond to this. They'll see through it, and you'll look like an asshole. You send them a real email, or you have someone else do it, that says something like, hey, Bob, thanks so much for writing me with your questions. You know, I hope my answer was good for you. I hope you got the podcast. Listen, tomorrow at noon this thing launches. I'm kind of freaked out about it. I just found out that John Reese mailed his list. How it's probably definitely going to sell out. Anyway, I want to show you my appreciation for sticking with me through this thing by reserving a special copy just for you. Now, here's what I've done. I've gone ahead and put up a sales page for you. Order link, however you want to word that. This is for you and you only. If you'd like to buy the product and avoid all the hoopla and stuff tomorrow, that's great. I'm happy to give it to you. Frankly, I know you're serious, or else you wouldn't have had time, or else you wouldn't have taken the time to write me today. I only want to do business with serious people. Okay? You can get your copy here. Send a link to the thing. Critical. Your next little blurb, should you hypothetically do this, needs to say something like, by the way, I'm not trying to be real hard-nosed about this or anything, but my super geek web guy has set this up so that if more than 2 people view this web page, it'll go offline. This really is a link just for you. Please, 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 smiley face. Don't show it to everybody because other folks might get mad. Again, I know I'm being a little picky, but you did take the trouble to write me, and frankly, that shows a commitment to success, and I'm more interested in working with that than some average Joe off the street. All right. Now, hypothetically, this could be done with a $30 programmer on Elance or something. You could have a little script written that A, does make the page go away if they give it to all their friends, and B, has a little sales letter that says, this course reserved specifically for Bob Jones. If you are not Bob Jones and you've come to this website, go away at once. Do not try to order this product. We'll know it's not you because this won't be Bob Jones on the credit card. This is just for Bob. Bob, if this is you, welcome aboard. I look forward to a long and mutually prosperous relationship. You've made an excellent decision in buying today. Please don't tell anyone I did this. I hope I don't catch a lot of heat for it. See you later. Done. You could sell your shit out before you even launch. Not that I've done it. I'm just saying, you could. Okay, that was a pretty good little tactic there. One last thing. People talk about this Web 2.0 stuff. If people are going to talk about you, you might as well get them to say what you want them to say on the forums, okay? Actually, you might as well get people to do what you want them to do in great mass, thus the term mass control. I guess, hypothetically, you could engineer such a situation like so. Since people talking about you on a forum is inevitable, you might as well set up your own forum for them to talk about you on. And when you release the killer content to them, no matter what it is, you plant a little seed in there. And the seed says something like this. As you can see, this is a very powerful strategy, and I'd like to know what you think the best way is to use it. I prefer method X and method Y, and that's how I've made most of my money, grown most of my tomatoes, built most of my meth labs, sold most of my real estate, whatever the hell you're selling. But you know what? I just found out about a new way to do it on this forum over here. And it's all about blah, blah, blah. And you can go to it, and what I'd like you to do is just go over there. You can hang out with other like-minded people and post what you think the best way to use this information is. I go there every day. It's my forum. And we'll have a discussion about it together. You might want to word it a little better than that. I'm giving it out of steam here, people. Give me a break. But what you're doing, you're giving good information. You're not coming right out and saying it, but you're basically putting the seed in their mind to go to the forum and talk about how they can benefit from your stuff. So right there, what do you think the best way to use this is? Notice I didn't say, did you like this? No. What do you think the best way to use this is? If you set it up some way where you reward the best new and exciting way to use your product, you'll really get people posting. People are going to do stuff anyway. They're very easily led. They're going to do what they want to do, what someone else wants them to do, or what you want them to do. Rarely do they actually do what they want to do. Thus, people like go to work every day in a job they hate. That's why they stay with spouses they don't like. That's why they let their kids talk that way and all that crap. They do what other people want them to do or what you want them to do. Choice is yours. That's all I got. Let's go get liquored up. Thanks. Double penetration. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. He told me to say it, and I forgot to say it, and now I said it.
There's a long story behind that, and we're not going to explain it. Thank you, Frank.